I just wanted your opinion as a political strategist as well, lobbyist. Biden's China policy. He indicated, President Biden, that he is in no hurry to undo the punitive trade measures that Donald J. Trump placed on China. He announced that no policy changes so far, and none of the 32 executive orders he signed involve China or trade. Biden will eventually formulate his own China policy. I'm like, why didn't you have one already? All right. Anyway, probably with more emphasis on national security and human rights. If you don't have tech in there, Jesus. All right. Climate change, which is all important. He seems increasingly likely to leave Trump's policies in place, it says. Trump imposed a $250 billion tariff on imports from China, which I'm not mad at because I was tired of seeing things made in China. I'm not mad at this. And this should be but he should link it to the Made in America initiative and make it more like it's more about making things here than it is being punitive towards China.
Right.
But, who am I?
No, you're an educated and wise sister, and one need not be an economist with a specialization in international trade to understand that we should incentivize goods to be made, bought, and sold here in America. That promotes American jobs. The problem with Trump is that he went about it like a jackass, like he did pretty much everything else, with these punitive sanctions against China, with this bombastic rhetoric. And part of being a politician, part of participating in public affairs is the art of diplomacy, in which trust is the coin of the realm. You have to establish trust between you and the people you're dealing with. Now, certainly, China has abused their stature as a behemoth over the last 25 years. There's no doubt about that. But that doesn't mean you can come in kicking down walls and destroying systems and institutions that are already in place and already relying upon the Sino-American fiscal relationship, right? So Trump went about it in a heavy-handed and bombastic way, like he did everything else. And part of that is why temperament matters when you're dealing with global leadership or even domestic leadership. So I'm excited to see what Biden does. I'm sure that he will incentivize American growth and American manufacturing. The difference between the Democrats, though, is when they incentivize American manufacturing and American growth, they generally do so, or will start in the future to do so, with an eye towards equitable participation on this side. So, right, that has to be the other element that Trump damn sure would have never had, right, is to make sure that you and me and our people can get access to those sources of capital to participate in the American growth here. But absolutely, we have to do something to get out of Chinese dominance in the fiscal sphere.
I think that's ship has sailed. They had a 10,000-year plan. That's all. I just want to just put that out there. We struggling 4 years at a time here. They had a 10,000-year plan that they are in the midst of right now. So there's that. And I think, any kind of interaction with them that does not protect us, protect our grid, protect us technologically is silly. But we'll see what happens. I mentioned AOC. She has recently, come out against President Biden's immigration stance, which is more people are in tents now, not cages. Folks who are crossing the borders, young people without parents. And AOC said this is not okay, never has been okay, never will be okay, no matter the administration or party. Our immigration system is built on a carceral, am I saying this right? Framework. It's no accident that challenging how we approach both these issues are considered controversial stances. They require reimagining, there's that word, Don, our relationship to each other and challenging common assumptions we take for granted. She tweeted that out. But do we just want open borders? Can just anybody come here? I mean, what is it that you think we should be doing with immigration and people coming here without documentation? What should happen?
The reality of the matter is that we have open borders, but we tend to act like we want to enforce them when it comes to immigration from Black and brown countries. But because you don't see folks from Canada getting run up out of here the day that their visa expires, or from Switzerland or from England, right? And they here, believe me, I see them and I live with them and I work with them and I hug them every day in Washington, D.C. Well, I hugged them pre-pandemic, right? So this is the way we treat Black and brown immigrants from the quote unquote S-hole countries. This is what this is about, right? Do we want open borders? we already have them. Like I said, it's about who we enforce the punitive nature of it with. But B, yes, we do want open borders, but you can have open borders with registration and legalization and a path to citizenship. And if you don't want citizenship, a path to constructive participation in our country in terms of being a tax-paying resident, if not a tax-paying citizen, a job holder, somebody who contributes to our society. Immigrants have always contributed to our society mightily and positively. And so we want that. We want that to continue. And we're in a global economy. I think that's another thing that Black folks and all of us have to recognize is that just like we can go somewhere else to live, we want the best and the brightest minds to come here and participate in what we have going on and continue to contribute to the patchwork of this country. However, we can do so in a way that they're recognized, they're registered, we're keeping track of them, they're taxpayers, and they're full participants. But I think the open borders thing is a bit of a misnomer because we've always had open borders for white immigrants, and we still do.
Facts. 866-801-8255. Shout out to Virginia. Shout out to Virginia, getting it right a lot recently. Yeah. They are set to become the first Southern state to declare racism a public health crisis. Come on. Yeah. Is now only a signature away from becoming that first state to declare racism a public health crisis. Virginia State Senate on yesterday on a voice vote approved the declaration and sent it to the desk of Governor Ralph S. Northam with his blackface hat himself. You better sign it. He's expected to sign it. We remember you were in blackface.
We remember he's going to sign it. I actually thought that there was something of a blessing in disguise when he did not get put out of office when he didn't resign, because I knew it was so early in his term. I knew that he was going to have to do a lot of catching up. He was going to have to make a lot of things right. And that bodes well for racial progress and progressive legislation over the course of the next 3 years, which you probably wouldn't have gotten out of his moderate self had that not taken place. So, in all things, a silver lining.
Yes, and strategy. Mm-hmm. Holding folk accountable. Don't let them just slink away.
That's right.
Let's go to John in Georgia. Do right. Everybody can be redeemed. Just about. Hi, John. Welcome to the Karen Hunter Show.
Hi, Karen. Listen, I just wanted to chime in because the key thing is simply this. When the colonizers came over here looking for gold and free land, when they did what they had to do, when they found the land, took it away from the Indians, then they brought the Africans over here when they wanted the land to be worked. So my thinking is simply this. We should not leave this country. Don't give them 1 ounce. This is our country. We worked it. We built it. We need to stay here because you know what? America exported the white supremacy all over the world already. So wherever we go, we're still going to face the same nonsense. We got to fight it right here in America. Thank you.
I agree. I think colonization has indoctrinated people all over the world. You talk about London. It has racial issues. You talk about France, even though a lot of Black folks left to go there, James Baldwin, Josephine Baker, Paul Robeson, a lot of American Black people were treated like humans, but how are the Africans treated there? Different story. Africa itself, that you have a country buttressed up against another country. One speaks English, the next one speaks French, the next one speaks Dutch, tells you all you need to know about even that and how people see themselves. So I don't think there's any place we can run to where we're not going to have to dismantle this notion of whiteness.
Well, white supremacy is global, and that's an undisputable fact. But I think that there are some unique aspects of not only white supremacy, but our reliance upon gun culture and gun worship, and our reliance upon police culture and police worship, the two-party system. There are some elements that are unique to America. As my big brother, Dr. Eddie Glaude says, America is not unique in its sins, nor in its offenses or in the way we oppress people. We are unique in the myths we tell about them. We have convinced ourselves from kindergarten that George Washington and the apple tree, I cannot tell a lie. This is the land of the free and the home of the brave. And sometimes it is, but we as Black people in America have the privilege of coming from universes where we don't have to believe those myths because we had to bear the brunt of them. And the lies that are told, we always kind of know that they're false, right? Because the weight the weight of the untruths about this country fall upon us and our communities. So I'm not saying we should leave America. I'm saying we should have the courage to investigate the idea of global citizenship. I'm saying we should have the courage to shop for places of residence outside of this country. I'm saying we should have the audacity to look for countries and shop for residence in the same way we shop for automobiles every 3 years. So it's a big world out there, and we should not be afraid to explore it, even if that considers moving somewhere for a couple of years.
Don just told us he's rich. Who shops for a vehicle every 3 years?
I did not.
801-8255. Apparently, Don Calloway gets a new car every 3 years. You better do that.
I do not.
It's